Good morning. Welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View this morning. The amount of injuries that Celtic are getting that are hamstring injuries tends to say that there's something wrong with the fitness levels of the players at Celtic. Martin O'Neill was left devastated yesterday when he said he doesn't really know what's going on. He doesn't know what's going on with football these days. I spoke about the fact that another player was taken off in the first half against Killie with a hamstring injury. He says, look, it's a setback for the Uruguayan player, but it's he's done his hamstring. I don't know what the game's about, says Martin O'Neill. Really, honestly. He says he's going to be out. The other two lads, Johnson and Osmond, they're getting surgery on Tuesday, so they're going to be out for a long time. O'Neill was pressed about the update on Johnson, and he said that we had to wait a little bit to get the results from the scan on his hamstring that showed a little tear as well. So sadly, because everyone says he's a really good player, and he is, Sriracha is just as good. And without having them, you can write off the Europa campaign, can't we? I think that we just concentrate on the league this year. Just forget about European football altogether. There's no chance to bring in replacements before the next transfer window. By then, Europe will be left with, 2 games. Jemai Simpson-Puzzi getting the start before Tony Ralston. The manager said, look, it was a bit of a risk using the Manchester City lad. He says, I thought if he could play centre half, maybe he could play out there. He said he was brilliant. I wanted to bring him off after 4 minutes. You could see that he is a centre back due to the way that he turned around, and in the first moments of the game, he grew into the game. He did get better, but you can see the first 5-10 minutes of the game, he was just he was passing the ball back all the time. Not what you really need at Celtic. But there was an even bigger controversy during the game yesterday. An even bigger controversy during the game, which led to a booking for Dyson Maeda. Yes. Let's get this one on the screen. It led to a booking to Dyson Maeda for this blatant dive. I mean, it's his arm. Dyson Maeda's arm hits his boot, and the guy goes down like he's been shot by a sniper from the Ra in the 1980s. I mean, Dyson Maeda can't believe that he's getting booked for it. And, I mean, when you see it, it's just a shocking. I mean, the guy should feel embarrassed for himself more than anything. I mean, look there, that's his hand. His hand touches it. I wonder if Celtic will manage to get a meeting with the SFA this evening. I doubt it. Celtic don't go down that road, do they? There was another incident during the game, and there was no booking for this one either. When you see this one, the player comes in, the ball's loose, Rio Hatate goes to kick the ball, kicks the ball, the player has his studs shown. Luckily, Rio Hatate jumps off the ground as the player also brings his feet up off the ground. But there was no card whatsoever. No card, even though the Celtic players would get the foul, but no card whatsoever. I mean, this angle, it looks even worse. I mean, there's his studs almost going into the standing leg of the Celtic player. And as he jumps into the air, his foot follows him up into the air. But never mind. It's okay, isn't it? We're Celtic. We get on with it. Because let's face it, Hearts are in absolute mayhem. Hearts are going to collapse. Celtic will win the league. And we won't forget it. We'll just forget about it, won't we? 3-game suspension for that. The Killie player cheating. That's what should happen. Surely we can't have a rating with ourselves if we run the SFA. Yes, according to some. That was the team yesterday, and it's we now go into a nice little period where there's no football. There is international football, and it was an interesting situation yesterday with, even though that the Green Brigade were banned for the game, the Green Brigade still managed to get in due to tickets. I expect the way that the club will react to this yesterday, the fact that the Green Brigade still got into the game, is they will more than likely close down the bottom half of the section. Celtic. So just be wary of this, our next home game. I think that Celtic will close the Green Brigade section after today's. It's been done before. You can only go on what's happened previously. Celtic fans rallied together to ensure that the Green Brigade was at today's match in defiance of the Celtic boards. I'll just get this picture up. I'll put that on. We'll get rid of the team. We'll get the message from the Green Brigade up that they put up after the game yesterday. It does say, thank you to all of the Celtic supporters clubs, groups and individual fans who kindly gave the Green Brigade tickets for today's match. This is another demonstration of unity from the Celtic support, rallying around fans who have been mistreated by a Celtic board, clearly feeling the pressure and desperately trying to quell dissent. We appreciate that some fans stayed away from today's match in light of the decision to ban the Green Brigade. We encourage all fans to attend matches as normal whilst our ban continues, to keep supporting the team and to keep up the pressure on the Celtic board until the last rebel. Now, the Celtic Fans Collective also put out a statement after the game yesterday, and keep the pressure on. The pressure must stay on, not another penny until we see real structural and personal changes at the club. Not another penny. That is an interesting one. Then when you go to read some of the comments, I think that the Celtic Collective have to take it up. If you can see the split between fans. I mean, when you read some of the comments below this, it doesn't work for me. We'll not do enough damage. Time to go to the next level. I'm with CMAC on that one. It's working by showing how quickly they move to shut down any groups showing dissent. Fully behind this, keep going. Can't believe how folk on here don't see how damaging and disrespectful the board continues to be. What you do get is you get people that go to games that you get people that go to games that are really pissed off with the situation, and they pay their hard-earned money, and there's a big percentage of them that are really behind the Fans Collective. And then you get the fans that sit at home saying, what the fuck's your problem? Look, we're run fantastically well. And it's always been the case, and I'm not trying to split fans in any way. It's always been the case. You always get people that sit at home will have one view of the club and the way that the club is run, and then you'll have people that go to the games and have a view of the club and the way that the club is run. But even the people that go to games, you know, there will be a split between them also. I will do exactly what I want, not with a group that represents a tiny majority of Celtic fans. Well, the group doesn't support a tiny majority of Celtic fans. And this is where individual fans that aren't part of a supporters club, and you've got to admit, there's a lot of Celtic fans that aren't part of supporters clubs that go to games that say that they're not speaking for us because they see it as a Green Brigade and Ultras-led collective when it's not really. There was fans groups all around the country that supported this. Fans group all around the country supporting this. But you get some Celtic fans saying that they'll do what they want and they don't support them. Yeah. They definitely don't speak for me. None till the rats leave. Just fuck off. So, there is fans out there that don't agree with the Celtic collective, but it's always been the case. Anyway, we move on from that and the Green Brigade this morning. And talk of Celtic manager, one man that seems to be on the agenda for a lot of Celtic fans and a lot of media is Knudsen, the Bodo Glimt manager. He spoke on TV yesterday, I think it was, and he said on TV that nothing is certain in life. I'm here now, I'm happy. We can always enjoy a nice football match. It's hopeless to answer about another club. I answer as I always do. It should be something more exciting than Bodo Glimt. Are Celtic a more exciting prospect to Knudsen than Bodo Glimt? That's the reality of the situation. He has been at the club for over 7 years now. He's done fantastically well. He's still in the Champions League with his club. Why would he leave a club that's in the Champions League at this moment to join Celtic, who are doing woeful, terrible, shocking in the Europa? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense at all. And the lure of Celtic is he is fully focused on Bodo Glimt for the foreseeable future, and he wants to see out the Champions League campaign. I think that he's one that maybe not going to be the next Celtic manager, even though he is highly rated. Now, as we all know, that Celtic have connections with the City Football Group. Hence the reason that we've been linked with so many players from Manchester City once again. And there is one journalist that's talking up the fact that Celtic are looking at Barry Murphy, who worked with the Manchester City's under-21s for several seasons. He does play a 4-2-3-1 formation. He's a cheap option, and it's just going to be unbelievable if we go down that road for Barry Murphy. Craig Bellamy's been full of praise for him. I think that the sooner that we get the people out the board and get away from this love relationship that we seem to have with the City Football Group. You could say that the City Football Group has done us well in the past, bringing in the connection with Ange, but it's also done a lot of damage, if you ask me, and I don't think that it's bringing in the level of player that certainly Celtic need at this time. Just reading some of the comments this morning. We've scored more goals at home under O'Neill in the last two games than we did at 4 home games with Rodgers in charge. Martin O'Neill's not going to be the manager though, is he? Is the boycott on merchandise working? I've no idea. I don't think it is. I've tried to ask a few folk that were at the game yesterday, but everyone seems to be a bit quiet on the front of, was the shop busy? No, it's not working. The shop was mobbed as usual right outside. So the Celtic fans collective of not another penny is not working, is it? Sadly. But you will have people at the games yesterday that will be thinking, yeah, I'm buying this for Christmas presents, and people getting Christmas presents in early. So where do we go from here? Where do the Celtic collective go from here? Do we want change, or do we not want change? That's the reality of where we're at the club. We're allowing the people that run the club to bring in another manager that's going to be a yes man. That's the way that I see it. And the fact that Callum Osmond, out injured, Sriracha. I mean, look at the players who've got hamstrings. We need to be questioning this, actually, because you've got Cameron Carter-Vickers out long term. You've got Sriracha now out with a hamstring. You've got Alistair Johnson going under the knife after being out for the majority of this season. You can write this season off for Alistair Johnson. And then there's your young boy Osmond. There's something not right within the physical training at Celtic for the one team to get so many hamstring injuries. You know, and Martin O'Neill was left in shock at that. He says, you know, he doesn't know what's going on. He's talking about a player of centre half that he put out wide. He says, I thought about taking him off after 4 minutes, but don't tell him that. He actually did fine. I think he got applauded off the pitch, which was nice to see. Not necessarily by me, but there we go. I was delighted, honestly, really pleased, said Martin O'Neill. We needed to freshen up the lineup after the midweek loss to Midtjylland. And look, we came home and we scored 4 goals the last 5 minutes. When we scored the third goal, you know, we did what Celtic do. Keep on pushing right to the end. It's an interesting period now. Celtic have no one at Celtic Park, and for the next, Jota's not back until after March. Ross is asking when Jota's back. All the players out now are not going to be back in contention until April. The season's done and dusted by then. Celtic will need to go out and spend big in the next transfer window. Spend big in the next transfer window just to get in reinforcements. And it's not the type of window necessarily that's going to be to bring in players to make us better. We're actually just needing bodies in now. Let's jump into some of the comments this morning, because there's an interesting one just coming from James. Roger said that Simpson, Puzzi, Inamura and Yamada were not good enough. Well, there you have to get a chance, as we have no other players. AG will want. It doesn't matter if he wants to be back before the end of the season. If he's going in for an operation tomorrow, you can write off November, you can write off December. You've then got a hamstring. You're talking 3 to 4 months. 3 to 4 months. James Smith, Jota's back in January. James, I bet you a tenner. He's not. I bet you a tenner he's not, because I got told something yesterday for someone that was at the game in the main stand, and Jota will not be back in January. Not a chance. Not a chance. So wherever you're getting your information, you may need to look at it. Justice for Shin Yamada, says Michelle. She has a Shin Yamada song that she penned at the start of the season, and we've not seen him yet. Remember that there was players had issues when Ange joined. Yeah, but that was because of the speed of the game that we were playing. Ange then brought in someone to help with the fitness and stretching and stuff. And it's been documented that Brendan Rodgers thought it was all bullshit and sacked the lassie. Said, we won't need your services. But anyway. Right, I'm only staying on just a quick one this morning. Celtic news-wise, you know, it's all about the game yesterday. It's all about the Green Brigade defying a ban. I think that the Green Brigade will now get the section closed down for the next game. It always happens. That's the way that Celtic go. Celtic will not want to see their authority, and definitely a little handshake from the Coppers will make sure that the bottom half of the Green Brigade section will be closed for the next game. That's just my bet on it. Celtic have been linked with a 20-year-old Moroccan player, even though that we don't have a manager. Bodo Glimt manager says, look, I can't talk about the Celtic job. Celtic need to come out and do something fast, even if it is to say that Martin O'Neill is here till the end of the season. On that note, if there's any update today, we might have a little laugh about Derek McInnes later on today. Have a fantastic day, Celtic fans, wherever you are, all around the world.